This is my family, and this is my father. You see how tall he was? But I was sort of a little artistic. I used to like to draw and paint. And then we would have the art classes and a project. And I remember my father was so proud of it. I thought it was nice, but he thought it was great. And I got a very bad grade on this project. And he couldn't stand it, and he went to talk to the teacher, and it didn't change. But I didn't understand that time it was because I was Jewish. And I was just such a little girl, and I used to be so scared. These tanks, they make so much noise, the big trucks full of German soldiers. And the big tanks just keep on roaring and roaring and roaring and roaring. And I used to run inside the house and cry, and I always used to hide behind my father. He was this giant in my eyes, you know. If I was near him, nothing could happen. And there was our house on this side, and right across there was another house, a brick house, and out of this window was a woman, a young woman. I knew her well. I don't remember her name. And she had a little baby in her hand, bundled up because it was February. It was very, very cold. Bundled up in a blanket. Evidently, they were raiding, I didn't know it, but they were raiding the whole city because that was the final solution of the city, but we didn't know at the time. And evidently, they probably came to the front door to her, and she was probably trying to run away through the window. So I can still see her. I'll never forget that picture. I always think about it. She was in the window. She opened the window with her baby in her hand, and she was screaming loud, "Help, help, this is my baby, just help, help." And she went on and on and on, but the Germans, the SS, they were so busy rounding us up that they just let her scream. Until when I was finally coming down the steps, I could hear her screams in the house, but I was coming down the steps, and I heard her scream, and I saw this one guy, this SS, he took this baby from her hand, and he threw it down on the ground, and then there was the other guy. He took that baby from the ground and threw it in the sack. And there was another guy, he shot her in the head. And at that point, I remember, as little as I was like numb, sort of like the world collapsed. My father kept saying, you know, "This is my little girl. You know, I can't leave her, I can't leave her." And he didn't want to go. And he just didn't want to go. Because he was holding on to me. And anyway, they tore him away. He was holding on so hard, you know, at me. Then they just like tore him away, hit him on the head, and tore him away, and they took him away. It was an older girl. She might have been a few years older than me. She found me. I don't remember her name, but she came over to me and she said, "You know, I saw your parents at the square before they took me away. And your mother said to me, 'I don't know what happened to my little girl, but in case you should ever see her, if you should see her,' she said, 'give her this to keep her warm.'" And she brought it to me.